Have you ever noticed how easy it is to do the things you wish you didn't do? And how hard it is to do the things you know you should? Think about it. The cookies are ready to eat. The drive-thru is open. The remote is already on the coffee table. But going for a walk? Now you need to find your shoes, change your clothes, fill your water bottle, hope the weather cooperates, find 30 minutes. Somehow, healthy living always seems to come with a much longer to-do list. Stay with me today because by the end of this video, I'm going to teach you a simple exercise I call the Price of Admission Audit. I think it will completely change the way you look at weight loss, healthy habits, and even your own home. Because I don't think your biggest obstacle is motivation. I don't think it's discipline. And I don't even think it's food. I think it's friction. One of the biggest misconceptions in the health and fitness world is that successful people simply have more willpower. I don't buy it. After more than 30 years of coaching women, I've seen something completely different. The women who succeed long-term usually aren't superheroes. They're not unusually disciplined, and they're not consistently motivated. What they've done, sometimes without even realizing it, is they've built lives where healthy choices are simply easier to make. And that is a very different conversation. Because if that's true, it means success isn't reserved for people with extraordinary self-control. It's available to anyone who's willing to reduce friction. I want you to think about this. Every healthy habit has a price of admission. I love that phrase because it changes the question. Instead of asking, why can't I stay consistent? You start asking, what's the price I'm asking myself to pay every single day? Let's take walking again. You don't just go for a walk. You find your shoes. You change your clothes. You charge your watch. Maybe you fill your water bottle. Maybe you find your earbuds. Maybe you check the weather. You might even rearrange your schedule. None of those things are difficult by themselves, but together, they raise the price of admission. Now, compare that to sitting on the couch. Price of admission? Almost nothing. Sit down, turn on the TV, done. Your brain notices that. The same thing happens with food. A balanced lunch often requires planning, shopping, cooking, packing, cleaning. The fast food app? 2 or 3 taps. Your brain isn't sitting there making a moral decision. It's making an efficiency decision. And that's an important distinction because somewhere along the way, we've convinced ourselves that if healthy living feels difficult, we just need more discipline. I disagree. I think many women don't have a discipline problem. They have a design problem. Now, here's a sentence I hope you'll remember long after this video ends. Convenience beats conviction more often than we'd like to admit. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. Think about your own house. Where are the cookies? You probably know exactly where they are. Now, where are your walking shoes? Where's your resistance bands? Where's the healthy snack you bought 3 days ago? If you have to stop and think, that is friction. I used to believe that successful people simply wanted it more. Now I think they simply removed more obstacles. And again, those are 2 different things. Because here's the truth. I used to believe successful people simply wanted it more. Now, I think they simply removed more obstacles. And again, those are 2 completely different things. Because here's the truth. Healthy habits aren't difficult because they're healthy. They're difficult because we've accidentally made them inconvenient. Let me give you a few simple examples. Imagine 2 women who both want to eat more fruit. Woman number 1 buys fresh strawberries. She gets home, puts them in the refrigerator, leaves them in the original container. 3 days later, they're still sitting there. Woman number 2 washes them, cuts them, places them in a clear container at eye level in the fridge. Same strawberries, different friction. One habit is much more likely to happen, not because one woman has stronger willpower, but because one woman lowered the price of admission. Here's another. Let's say you want to strength train after work, but your workout clothes are upstairs. Your shoes are in another closet. Your program is somewhere on your phone. And by the time you gather everything, you're already tired. Now, imagine your gym clothes are packed the night before. Your shoes are by the door. Your workout already planned. You haven't changed your motivation. You've changed the amount of effort required to get started. That's friction. And I think this is one of the biggest reasons women become so frustrated. They assume every missed workout, every drive-through dinner, every skipped walk is evidence that they lack discipline. And I don't see it that way. I often see someone who's unintentionally created an environment where success requires superhero levels of effort. And if your healthy lifestyle requires superhero levels of discipline, it's probably designed wrong. So if friction is the real problem, what do we actually do about it? How do we make healthy choices easier without relying on motivation or forcing ourselves to be quote unquote better? That's where I want to introduce something I now teach every coaching client: the Price of Admission Audit. Because once you see friction, you'll start noticing it everywhere. And more importantly, you'll know exactly how to lower it. So, how do you actually lower the price of admission? Here's how it works. When you get off this video today, I want you to walk through your home with a different set of eyes. Not as a homeowner, not as a parent, not as someone even trying to lose weight. As a coach, ask yourself one question over and over again. What is this environment making easy for me? That's it. Because every home is perfectly designed to encourage certain behaviors. The question is, which behaviors? Let's start in your kitchen. Walk in without touching anything. What do you see first? Cookies, candy bowl, potato chips, or a bowl of fresh fruit? Remember, your brain notices what's obvious before it notices what's healthy. Now, open your refrigerator. Can you immediately grab something nutritious? Or does healthy eating require opening containers, moving leftovers, washing produce, cutting vegetables, finding ingredients, and making 6 decisions before lunch? Every one of those steps raises the price of admission. Now, let's leave the kitchen, walk toward your front door. If you wanted to go for a walk, could you be outside in 2 minutes? Or would you have to hunt for shoes, find your headphones, fill your water bottle, look for sunscreen, change your clothes, find your keys, and then decide whether it's worth the effort? Again, that's friction. Now think about bedtime. You tell yourself every night you're going to get to bed earlier, but the TV is on. The laundry still needs folded. Your laptop is still open. You're not just fighting fatigue. You're fighting an environment that's inviting you to stay awake. See how this goes so far beyond food? This is life design. One of my favorite quotes, I think it's by James Clear, says, "We shape our environments, and then our environments shape us." I think that's incredibly true when it comes to health, because every day your environment is quietly nudging you in one direction or another, toward movement or sitting, toward cooking or takeout, toward water or soda, toward sleep or scrolling. The question isn't whether you're being influenced. You are. The question is, are you influencing your environment first? Here's something I wish more women understood. You don't have to make healthy habits effortless. You just have to make them easier than they were yesterday. That's progress. Maybe meal prep still takes effort, but instead of cooking 5 nights, you cook twice. Maybe walking or going to the gym still takes planning, but your shoes are already by the door. Maybe protein still requires intention, but you've already grilled chicken on Sunday. The habit didn't disappear. The price just got lower. Now let's flip the conversation. Instead of making healthy choices easier, what if we made unhealthy choices just a little harder? Notice I didn't say impossible. Harder. What if the cookies weren't sitting on the counter? What if the ice cream wasn't the first thing you saw when you opened the freezer? What if you deleted the food delivery app from your phone during the week, or entirely? What if your evening chair wasn't facing the television, but the window instead? Tiny changes, big difference. Because here's another truth. Your brain usually follows the path of least resistance. Let's make that path healthier. I think this is where so many women have been sold the wrong solution. They've been told, just try harder. No pain, no gain. Want it more. But here's my question. Why? Why are we trying to become stronger instead of making success easier? Imagine if every morning your vitamins were beside your coffee maker, your water bottle was already filled, your lunch was already packed, your workout clothes were already laid out. You haven't become more motivated. You've become more prepared. And preparation quietly beats motivation over and over again. I want to leave you with one final thought. Earlier I said, every healthy habit has a price of admission. Here's what I hope you'll remember. Your job isn't to eliminate the price. Your job is to make it more affordable, because life will always ask something of you. There will be groceries to buy, meals to prepare, walks to take, weights to lift. The goal isn't to remove every ounce of effort. The goal is to stop making healthy living harder than it needs to be. So this week, don't promise yourself you'll have more discipline. Don't promise yourself you'll finally get motivated. Instead, walk through your home, do your own price of admission audit. Ask yourself, what am I making easy? What am I making hard? Then change one thing. Not 20 things, one. Move the fruit, pack the lunch, set out the shoes, fill the water bottle, lower the price. Because here's what I want you to know after over 3 decades in coaching. Success rarely belongs to the woman with the strongest willpower. It usually belongs to the woman who made healthy choices easier to repeat. And that is something every one of us can do. If this video helped you think differently, I'd love for you to share it with someone who's tired of blaming themselves every time healthy habits don't stick. And if you're ready to stop relying on motivation and start building a healthier lifestyle that actually fits your life, I'd love to help. You can reach me at jody@wright-sizedwellness.com. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then let me know in the comments. What's one thing you could do this week to lower the price of admission for a healthier choice? I read every comment, and I can't wait to see your ideas. Until next time, do good, have fun, be well.